Hello there, everyone. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome to Coffee Time Career Chat. We are talking about all things networking and relationship building today. And I am your host, Patricia Hayes. I'm an executive advisor, an authentic networking strategist. And what that means is I am here to help those entrepreneurs, business owners, and female professionals, executives who are trying to get to the next level in their careers and their businesses. They need some help with their executive presence, as well as making sure that they are building out a sustainable professional network that will help them throughout the remainder of their career. And that's the stuff I love to do. And this is the stuff I love to talk about. So, welcome. And we're going to jump right in here. I hope you have your coffee because we're starting a new theme this week. So, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we are going to be talking about exploring new connection opportunities. And we're doing that because it's harvest time, y'all. And I will tell you at the end what that means. So, it is harvest time. It's time to start, putting some seeds into the ground as well as pulling out some fruit, some, things that have come to fruition. It's time to do something with all of pardon me. So, what we're going to do to kick that off is this week we are talking about the mindset shift that's got to happen if you are going to be able to harvest those relationships and connection opportunities that will take you to the next level. Okay. So, and that means you first have to step outside your networking comfort zone. I know this is going to be hard for some people, but we can do it. And we're going to talk about how right now. So, most of the time when we're talking about getting out of our comfort zone, right? It's like, yeah, there's all this stuff. There's always there's a ton of excuses. And so we're going to address some of those excuses here today because here's the reality. If you really want to get to the next level of whatever it is you're trying to get to in your career, in your profession, in your community, I don't care what it is, there are things that you are going to have to face. There are challenges that you are going to have to face regardless. Okay. And one of them is, who can you reach out to? What relationships can you leverage in order to get to that thing that you're going for, in order to achieve your goal? Okay. Now remember, we're always talking about doing this from a stance of authenticity, of genuineness. We don't use people here. Like, that's not the kind of networking we do. We don't use and abuse our relationships. Okay. That's not the stance from which we work. And that needs to always be the level set understanding. We're talking about where you have built up or you continue to build up those relationships so that you are in the position of both giving and receiving. And so when we're talking about what it means as you're coming to this point of, it's harvest time, what can we do with these connections and these relationships that we have attained over the course of this last year, we're talking about looking at them both from the perspective of what can you share out and what can you take in from a receiving perspective, because, it means you got to ask. And then now we get to that whole getting out of your comfort zone, because nobody likes to ask for help. Now, sometimes people do, but when it comes to it in the context of this relationship building and networking, they do not. I am well aware that networking is the second most hated professional building skill out there and has been. The first is public speaking. So it is hilarious to me that those are two of my favorite things to do. And here I am, always like trying to convince people, coax them, you can do this, because you can, right? It's all about your mindset that you have as you approach it And then what's the strategy? What's the thing you're going to do in order to make it a consistent part of your life, as well as to build and exercise that muscle, that connection muscle, so that it becomes more comfortable, right? So I'm not going to talk you out of saying it's not uncomfortable. It absolutely is uncomfortable for some people. Honestly, it's uncomfortable for me. Sometimes when I'm trying to get to that next level thing, like there is definitely resistance. Okay. So just know and be assured that even for those who have best relationships, who have been doing this a long time, like there are always those stretch goals, those stretch opportunities that take us a little bit out of our comfort zone, and that we have those things to do as well. It means we're growing as professionals. That's what it means, and that's what I encourage you to think about it as a growth opportunity, which we just talked about over the last I think that was last week or something like that. Okay. So, what are some of the first things you hear when you're like, well, I can't do that? I mean, that's it. I can't because add anything you want behind it. I can't because I don't have enough time. I can't because I don't have a really good connection, network. I can't because I don't know the right people to do it. Right. Here's the thing. I'm always encouraging you that you get yourself a little notebook, and when you start having that stuff running through your head, like write it down. Seriously, write it down. And if you're like, oh, I can't do that because I don't have a pen and a paper beside me. Well, guess what? You probably have your phone in your hand. So go to the note section and write down your excuses and label it networking excuses. There we go. Networking excuses. See, I'm not going to let you get out of it. I want you, but seriously, I want you to write those things down so that you can see them and then do some exercises and some reflection on them, and to take back, not from a judgmental standpoint, but from a position of curiosity and like, why am I saying that? Because more than likely, if you're even watching this broadcast, you are someone who's a go-getter, or you have goals, you have things you want to achieve that you're trying to go after. People who have goals and are goal-getters, they've come past some things, they've overcome some things, right? So that means you've got to a new level of resistance if you're a point of saying, oh, but I can't do that because of X, right? And I want you to think about what that really means and what's the story behind it. What's the real fear that you have? I can't because I don't have enough time, right? So maybe the fear is you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take hours. I don't have hours to do this. I'm already swamped, right? It doesn't take hours, right? We can talk about and talk through those things, and we can share out the strategies that I've been sharing for some time about how you can make those connections and it not consume your time. I can't because I'm not good at it. Well, guess what? How do you get better at something? Practice. I'm not going to say practice makes perfect because perfection is an illusion. However, practice does make better. Okay. And so if you practice, you will get better. And the only way to do it is to step out there and to do it. Okay. Um, what's another great one? Hey Olga, how are you doing? So good to see you. So other things that we're doing, like I can't because it's not going to matter, right? There's that's we'll save that for the next one, right? So there's always an excuse. What I want you to do is to actively sit in that, acknowledge it, and then question the excuse. Write it out. Write down all, how we used to do those pros and cons of doing things. I want you to do that. Because when you do that and you say, but I can't because, but you're like, yeah, but here's how it can help me if I really do lean into trying to take that next step and building out these relationships, you will start to see actively the benefits of the work that you're doing, or the work that, or what it could be, right? Because it's always the like, but what could it be if I overcame this I can't reason? Okay? So address the mindset issue head on. Take time to do the reflection. You all know I'm always a huge fan of that. And then let's just keep moving forward. Okay, keep moving forward. What's the next thing? So it's, what's another one? Oh, this is one of my favorites. It's stupid. It's not worth the time, all of that. Like, networking is a waste of time and it's really stupid to be engaging like that. Here's the thing, that is a really negative one, right? That people do, they have that in mind of, it's stupid, because you're trying to devalue it, right? And so if something's quote stupid, or and it's not worth the time, then you're saying it's not of value, so therefore you're justified in not taking that action. All right. And so I really want you to, again, to take that opportunity to sit back and like, but why do you think it's stupid? Do you think it's stupid because you're really, it's actually more about you being scared of engaging in something and confronting some past fears, or, or lack of confidence that you may have? Like, let's really dig into it, because on its surface, building professional relationships, like, how is that stupid? How is it not worth your time? If you have a career, if you have a business, and you want to do better, you have goals that you want to achieve, then having relationships that you build out and continue and sustain, like, that adds to the value of your business and your career. So let's back into, again, why it would be stupid to do something that could add value to your profession, your career, your business. All right? I told you, we're addressing them head on here. Head on today. Okay. So, what's the next one? Oh, this is a great one. And this is that whole external piece. What will other people think? This is that whole taking on what's going on outside of you, and how other people will respond to if you take action in this way. And the thing I want to challenge you is, why do you care? Why do you care what other people think about you building your profession, about you growing in your business? Why do you care about that? Right? Why do you care what they think about how you do that? And that is because now we're getting back to you, really, right? It's because there's something in you that's like, I don't want to seem pushy. I don't want to seem like I'm being quote greedy, right? And all of those things, especially for women that have negative connotations, the aggressive versus assertive. But don't even get me started on that one, right? If you're going out there and you're being very, ambitious is not a bad word. It's only has a negative connotation if you're female. Right? People talk about ambitious men all the time, but ambitious women has a negative connotation. But why do you care? And I don't say these things, again, sitting in judgment. I have been there. I have held some extremely high level positions throughout my career. And each and every one of them came with a moment of, oh my gosh, can I really do this? What are people going to say? But this is that time when you dip into your professional relationships and your network to get the support that you need from the people who support you, not from the ones who are questioning what you're doing. Now, there are times when you have some people who are feeding into you and it's healthy criticism, or it's healthy, like, hey, have you thought about that? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people who are the crabs in the bucket, who are reaching up and trying to pull you back down, because they're really trying to instigate that negativity, but why are you doing this again? That kind of questioning. Okay. And I'm going to challenge you because, again, this is stepping outside your comfort zone for sure. If you're like, you know what? I may not have all the answers to what it is I'm going to do or how I'm going to get there, but I do know that I need the people in my circle who are supportive of me for doing that, even if they don't understand, and that are willing to help me expand my relationships in a way that will help me to achieve those goals. Okay. And now we're talking about all this. You're like, but why are we talking about all this? I thought we were supposed to be talking about, exploring new connections and it's harvest time, whatever. If you don't address the negativity or the fear or the questions that are rolling around in your brain when it comes to getting to the next level and pursuing these relationships, you are not going to be successful in harvesting those connections that you've made over the past year. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that because this is a process that I undertake every year, probably a couple of times a year, but at least once a year, where I literally sit down and take a hard look at every opportunity I've had, whether it's speaking or presenting, trainings, right? And the people I've met along the way, and taking a look at where did I really follow up? Where did I fall down on the follow up? Do I still need to follow up? And then is that follow up going to happen over the course of the next 3 months? Or is it going to roll over into the next year? Okay. You have to be willing to sit down and to address all of those things that come up in your brain that says, oh, but I can't. I haven't talked to that person in 6 months. Because there will be that. I will have that experience. I am sure there's someone that I really meant to be following up with this year that I really didn't. And so here it is now at the end of the year. And I'm like, crud, I'm really going to have to reach back out to them. And as uncomfortable as that may make me feel, whatever, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to wait and say an answer for them because that's another thing we will do, right? We'll say, oh, they're not going to have time for me now. How do you know that? You haven't even reached out to them. Don't try to answer on other people's behalf, right? Do your part. And so doing your part means, pushing the envelope, being willing to expand yourself, being willing to step outside of your comfort zone and say, you know what, I may not know what the response is going to be, but I'm going to put myself out there anyways. That's where the gold is. Every time you do that in follow up, people who I always say this: the gold is in the follow up. And when you do that, you will get unexpected responses every single time. Every time. I don't guarantee a lot, but that's one of those things I'm almost like 99%. You will always get an unexpected response from someone, at least one, at least one. Okay. So I want you to think about that. And so it comes down to this: just do one thing. If you have on your little sheet, in your little work, in your little journal, you have 5 things that you're like, oh, I can't because of this. I think it's stupid because of that. What will people think? I'm not saying for you to go after all 5 of those things right now today. I'm saying take one of them, address it, and then go take action that uh, that has the positive response of it. Okay, right? One thing. Do that one thing and then get back to me. Because when you do that one thing, you'll be like, well, I'm already here. I love that. I'm already here. I might as well do another. And then you'll be like, oh, I guess I could do yet another. And next thing you know, you will have reached out to like 5 or 10 people. I'm telling you, build on that momentum. right? Once you start to put yourself out there, once you start to stretch, it's kind of like, well, I'm already here. Might as well do something else, right? What do you have to lose? What That's really the question. What do you have to lose by putting yourself out there one more time? The worst that anyone can say is no. This is something I always, always, always repeat to my own self and that I will tell others. The worst that anyone can say is no. And guess what? That's going to be okay. All right. So here's the thing, think about that one thing, take action on that one thing. And tomorrow, it may be the same thing, or it could be a new one. But I'm encouraging you to take action daily. And if you aren't a part of or don't know anything about my networking challenge, hit me up in the DMs and I can send you the link to the networking challenge. It's a 30-day networking challenge. You do not have to start it at the beginning of the month. You can start it anytime you want. Okay, that will give you that accountability as you start to look for the things to harvest, okay, and the things to build out. And here is one of my favorite opportunities I like to offer. And I only do this one once a year. Sometimes I used to do it twice a year, but really this really this really this year it's more about because it's been a little off, right? So I'm super excited about bringing back the Harvest Time Challenge. It is a 5-day challenge that we are going to begin on October 25th. All right, so the end of the month, we're going to do the 5-day Harvest Time Challenge. It is free. And it's literally going to be me walking you through how to take a look back over this year and identifying those opportunities that you either missed and need to kind of bring back in, or that you kind of lagged behind and you need to bring it forward as well, or maybe something you didn't even think about, right? And so we will be talking about that. And I'm looking forward to doing this once again. It is a relatively simple challenge, I will say, but with high returns. Like it is one of my favorite. And I love doing it even for myself. All right. So we're going to be doing that starting October 25th. Hit me up in the DMs if you're interested. I will be dropping a link to the registration for it. We will probably do it either in a pop-up group or on Zoom. I'm still trying to work through what that looks like. So if you have a preference, let me know. But probably Zoom, so that I can catch everyone and not just folks on Facebook or whatever. So that said, I look forward to it. Let me know if you're interested, and let's get this going and let's start harvesting these absolutely wonderful opportunities you've had this year so that you can build forward for next year. Okay, take care, and I will talk with you again soon. Bye bye.